I found out about my fiance's cheating in the most humiliating way. You wouldn't even guess. Listen, it started subtly. An itch that wouldn't quit, a low-grade burn that felt more persistent than annoying. I ignored it for a week, maybe two. Probably just irritation. Maybe drank too much coffee, not enough water. Standard stuff, but it didn't fade. Finally, dragging my feet, I made an appointment. Dr. Evans's office was predictably sterile, smelling faintly of antiseptic and old magazines. "So, Charlie, what's been bothering you?" Dr. Evans asked, peering over his glasses, his voice calm and professional. I described the symptoms, downplaying them slightly. Didn't want to seem like some panicked hypochondriac. He listened patiently, nodding. "Okay, let's run a few tests. Better safe than sorry." "Sure, Doc. Whatever you think," I mumbled, already wanting to be anywhere else. The tests themselves were quick, impersonal. A swab here, a blood draw there. Then the waiting began. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon, right as I was finalizing a brief. Dr. Evans's nurse, polite but firm. "Mr. Richards, Dr. Evans would like you to come in to discuss your results. Could you make it tomorrow morning?" "Can't he just tell me over the phone?" I asked, irritation creeping into my voice. My stomach twisted. This wasn't good. "The doctor prefers to discuss these matters in person," she replied, her tone unchanging. The next morning, back on that crinkly paper, the air felt thicker. Dr. Evans didn't waste time. He sat across from me, file open, his expression carefully neutral. "Charlie," he began, his voice low, "your test came back positive for chlamydia." The room seemed to tilt. Chlamydia. The word hung there, ugly and clinical. My mind raced, scrambling for an explanation, any explanation other than the obvious one. But there wasn't one. There was only Luna, my fiancée. We'd been exclusive for 2 solid years, monogamous, or so I'd believed. There was no other way. No forgotten drunken night, no slip-up. It had to be her. "Okay," I managed, my voice sounding distant. "Okay, what's the treatment?" He explained the course of antibiotics, the need for Luna to be tested and treated too, the importance of abstaining until we were both clear. I nodded numbly, absorbing the practicalities while the betrayal began to curdle in my gut. A cold, hard knot formed in my chest. That evening, the apartment felt different. The comfortable space we'd built together suddenly seemed tainted, charged with unspoken accusations. Luna was humming in the kitchen, prepping dinner. She looked beautiful, effortlessly so, her dark hair tied back, a smudge of flour on her cheek, the picture of domestic bliss. I waited until we were sitting down to eat, the silence stretching between us, punctuated only by the clink of forks on plates. I couldn't hold it in any longer. The anger, the sense of violation, it was a physical pressure. "Went to the doctor today," I said, keeping my voice level, watching her face. "Oh, everything okay?" she asked, looking up, concern in her eyes. Such a good actress. "Not really. Turns out I caught something. It's chlamydia," I stated flatly. Her fork clattered onto her plate. Her eyes widened, first in shock, then rapidly clouding with something else. Indignation, disbelief. "What? Charlie, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I have chlamydia, Luna. And since I haven't been with anyone else, I'm asking you how I got it." The accusation hung heavy in the air. Her face flushed crimson. She pushed her chair back, standing abruptly. "How dare you?" Her voice trembled, but with rage, not guilt. "How dare you accuse me? You think I gave this to you after everything?" "There's no other explanation," I said, my own voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. "No other explanation?" She practically shrieked, her hands clenched into fists. "Are you serious? Maybe you picked it up at the gym sauna. People get things like that. Or maybe..." Her voice dropped, laced with venom. "Maybe you're the one who's been sneaking around and now you're trying to pin your filth on me." Her performance was incredible. The righteous fury, the wounded tears welling in her eyes. It was flawless. For a sickening moment, I actually faltered. That seed of doubt she planted, the sauna? Was that even possible? I vaguely recalled reading something somewhere. God, was I being paranoid? Luna. Cheat? It seemed impossible. This was the woman who had stood by me when I was grinding through law school, working part-time, barely scraping by. Luna, who always seemed to have boundless energy, working as a store assistant back then, later juggling 2 jobs, waitress shifts, bartending gigs, always hustling. She'd dropped out of college herself, she'd said, to support her parents. I respected that dedication, that grit. We met properly years after our brief supermarket colleague days, bumped into each other by chance. She was a floor supervisor then. We clicked over coffee, reminiscing. I was single, recently out of a dead-end thing. She said she was too. We started dating, slowly, at first, then falling into that comfortable rhythm of a serious relationship. She always seemed so solid, grounded despite her expensive tastes. Early on, when I was still building my career, making peanuts as an associate, she'd sometimes show up with a new designer scarf or a pair of pricey shoes. Treating myself, she'd say with a shrug. Work hard, play hard, right? It made me feel inadequate then, unable to provide those things myself. But she never rubbed it in. Instead, she pushed me. "You've got this, Charlie," she'd say. "You're brilliant. Don't settle. Go for that partnership." She had this unwavering belief in me, this fierce ambition for me. And it worked. Her faith, her constant encouragement, it fueled me. I put in the brutal hours, networked, played the game. Last year, it paid off. Junior partner, the salary jump was significant. Finally, I could be the provider. I could buy her the nice things she deserved, the things she used to buy for herself. One of the first things I did was suggest she cut back on work. "You don't need 2 jobs anymore, Luna," I'd said, picturing cozy evenings together, weekends free from her exhausting schedule. "Keep the dealership job if you like it, but drop the evening hustle." She'd seemed genuinely relieved, touched even. "Really, Charlie, you mean it." She quit the waitressing gigs almost immediately, keeping only her sales manager position at the upscale car dealership downtown. It felt like we were finally moving into that comfortable, secure future I'd worked so hard for. Then came the bag incident, the turning point, really. It was a few months ago, right before her birthday. Things had been good, mostly. We were settling into this new phase of our lives. I was finally making decent money. Luna had scaled back to just one job, and I thought we were in a good place. I remember we were sitting on the couch one night, Netflix playing in the background, both of us a little tired but comfortable. I asked her, almost offhand, "So what do you want for your birthday this year?" She turned to me with this hopeful little smile, tucking her hair behind her ear. "There's this Chanel bag I've been dreaming about. I saw it in the shop window last week. It's about $3,000 for a handbag." I honestly thought she was joking. I snorted. "Wait, what? Are you serious?" Immediately, her smile disappeared. Her eyes narrowed, and for a split second, there was something almost wounded in her expression. "Why is that funny?" she snapped. "You think I don't deserve something nice?" I tried to reel it back in, realizing too late how it sounded. "No, Luna, it's not that. Of course I want to get you something special. But $3,000 just for a bag? That's kind of crazy, don't you think? It's just a lot." She stared at me, her jaw clenched. "A lot for you, maybe. For me, it's a dream. Something I never thought I'd ask for. But I thought you'd want to give me something meaningful, now that you can. After all the years, I worked myself to the bone, supported you when you were broke." "I know you did, and I appreciate it," I said, my voice getting tight. "But Luna, $3,000 for a bag is just frivolous," she cut in, her tone sharp as a knife. "After everything, you're just like all the rest. You want to spoil me, but only on your terms." I was getting defensive now, feeling the whole thing slipping out of control. "It's not like that. I want to spoil you, I do. But that's more than half a month's rent on something you can't even drive, can't even live in. It's not practical, Luna." She stood up abruptly, grabbed her keys from the table, her whole body rigid with anger. "I don't want practical, Charlie. I wanted something special. Something to show me you see how hard I worked, how much I gave up for you, but you don't get it. You never do." And before I could say another word, she stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I just sat there, stunned, watching the door vibrate on its hinges, wondering how a simple question about a birthday present could turn into this gaping crack between us. We didn't speak for 2 days. The silence in the apartment was heavy, suffocating. I wrestled with it. $3,000 was a lot for a bag. It felt wasteful, irresponsible even. But then I thought about her face when I laughed. I thought about her unwavering support when I was nobody. The guilt gnawed at me. Eventually, I caved. I called her, apologized, and told her I'd get her the bag. She came back relieved, apologetic herself for storming out. We made up. But a tiny fissure remained, a hairline crack in the foundation, and now this, chlamydia, her furious denial echoing in the tense apartment. Was the sauna thing really plausible? Could stress manifest like this? No. My gut screamed betrayal, but her performance, it was so convincing, so utterly woundedly convincing. I need some air," I stammered. pushing back from the table, needing to escape the claustrophobic tension, her tear-streaked, accusing face. I grabbed my keys and walked out, leaving her standing there amidst the ruins of our dinner. Outside, the cool night air did little to clear my head. I walked aimlessly, replaying the scene, her words, her fury. Could she really fake that level of indignation? She was lying. She was terrifyingly good at it. I pulled out my phone and called Dave. My oldest friend knows me better than anyone. He's cynical, pragmatic, sometimes brutally honest. Exactly what I needed. "Charlie, what's up, man? You sound weird," he answered, background noise suggesting he was at a bar. "Dave, I need to ask you something. Kind of personal," I started, lowering my voice as I ducked into a quiet side street. "I'm at O'Malley's. You sound like you could use a drink. Come down." 15 minutes later, I slid onto a bar stool next to him. He took one look at me and shook his head. "Geez, Charlie, you look like hell. What's going on? Is it possible to catch something like a chlamydia from like a gym sauna or something? Non-sexually?" The question felt stupid, even as I asked it. Dave burst out laughing, a loud, incredulous laugh. "A sauna? Are you kidding me, Charlie? Did Luna feed you that line? Jesus Christ, man, wake up!" His bluntness cut through the fog of doubt Luna had created. She denied it, got really upset, accused me back. "Of course she did. Classic deflection." Dave's voice was sharp now. "Look, I know you think Luna walks on water, but statistically, no, you got it from her or she got it from you. Since you sound pretty sure it wasn't you, well, do the math. Don't be an idiot, man." The cold knot in my chest tightened. He was right. The sauna excuse was pathetic. Her anger was a performance. "What do I do, Dave?" I asked, feeling lost. "First, protect yourself. You got proof, no? Then get some. You can't just accuse her without solid evidence, especially if you're planning on kicking her out or breaking the engagement. Second, and this is important, that ring you gave her, your grandmother's ring, get it back, now, before she senses trouble and disappears with a family heirloom. Trust me on this. Get proof, get the ring. Get proof." The words echoed Dave's pragmatic advice. How? Hire a PI? Seemed extreme, expensive. Then I thought about her job, the car dealership, upscale place, wealthy clientele. Luna was attractive, charismatic, part of why she was good at sales. She worked late sometimes, schmoozing clients, she called it. Suddenly, those late nights took on a sinister new meaning. A plan began to form, cold and methodical. It felt ugly, invasive, but necessary. Dave was right. I needed proof, and I needed that ring back. My grandmother's ring on the finger of a woman who had betrayed me so thoroughly, the thought made me sick. The next few days were a strained, silent hell. We lived like ghosts in the apartment, polite but distant. I started the antibiotics, lying that the doctor said it was just a persistent bacterial infection, non-contagious. Luna seemed to accept this, though the tension remained thick enough to cut. She was probably relieved I'd dropped the accusation, assuming I'd bought her act or decided to let it go. Let her think that. I started paying closer attention. Her phone was glued to her hand more than usual, angled away from me. Quick hushed calls she took in the other room. Late nights at the dealership became more frequent. "Trying to close a big deal?" she'd say vaguely. The excuses felt thin now, transparent. Friday night, she texted around 7 p.m. "Gonna be late, got a serious buyer for the new S-Class, might take a while. Don't wait up, love you." The love you felt like acid. This was my chance. I drove downtown, parking a block away from the dealership, across the street, partially obscured by a delivery truck. The showroom lights were bright, illuminating the polished chrome and sleek lines of the luxury cars within. I could see Luna through the large glass windows, laughing with a customer. He looked older, maybe mid-50s, dressed in an expensive suit. Silver hair slicked back, definitely wealthy. I watched them. They walked around a gleaming black sedan. Luna was animated, gesturing, smiling that dazzling smile she used to reserve for me. He seemed captivated. Eventually, most of the other staff left. The main lights dimmed, leaving only security lighting. But Luna and the silver-haired man remained. My heart pounded. This felt sleazy, voyeuristic, but I couldn't look away. They moved towards the back of the showroom, near the service area entrance, where the light was dimmer. They paused beside a dark blue convertible, its top down. He said something, leaning closer. Luna laughed again, tilting her head back. Then my breath caught. She reached out, touched his arm, and glanced around the empty showroom. He opened the passenger door. She slid in. He walked around, got into the driver's seat. They sat there for a moment, talking, shadows obscuring their faces. Then, incredibly, he leaned over, and she climbed clumsily over the center console into the back seat. He followed her. The car's interior light flickered off. My hands tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles white. I couldn't see details, just shapes moving in the darkness, the subtle rocking of the car on its suspension. There was no mistaking what was happening. In the back seat of a customer's car, or maybe even dealership inventory inside her place of work. The audacity was staggering. The betrayal was absolute. My hands were shaking, but not from shock anymore. It was cold, calculating rage. I fumbled for my phone, heart hammering against my ribs. Holding it steady, I aimed the camera, zooming in as much as the distance and darkness allowed. The footage would be grainy, indistinct, but the context was undeniable. The location, the time, the figures moving in the back seat of that convertible. It was proof. Ugly, damning proof. I recorded for several minutes, capturing enough to leave no doubt. Finally, the movement stopped. A minute later, the interior light flickered on. Luna emerged from the back, hastily adjusting her blouse, smoothing her skirt. He followed, straightening his tie. They didn't look at each other. He got out, walked quickly towards the main exit. Luna lingered, checking her reflection in the car window, running a hand through her hair before heading towards the employee exit at the back. I sat there for a long time after they were gone, the phone heavy in my hand, the video file saved. The rage had subsided, replaced by a chilling emptiness. There was no grief, no heartbreak, just a cold, hard resolve. She had made her choice. Now I would make mine. The next morning, Saturday, I waited until she was up, showered, sipping coffee in the kitchen, acting as if last night was just another late shift. I walked in, phone in hand. "Morning," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. "Morning," she replied, a little too brightly. "Sorry I was so late. That guy was intense, but I think I closed him." "I'm sure you did," I said softly. I held up the phone, screen facing her, and pressed play. The grainy video filled the screen. The dark showroom, the blue convertible, the shadowy figures in the back seat. Her coffee cup slipped from her hand, shattering on the tile floor, coffee splashing across her bare feet. Her face went utterly pale, her eyes fixed on the screen, mouth slightly open. The color drained away, leaving her looking stark and exposed. She looked up at me, pure, unadulterated panic in her eyes. "Charlie, how does it matter?" I cut her off, my voice like ice. "What matters is this. What matters is the chlamydia you so convincingly denied giving me. What matters is the lie our entire relationship has been." She started to stammer, tears flooding her eyes now, real tears. Finally, "Charlie, please, I can explain. It happened. I was stressed. The bag thing, save it," I snapped. "I don't want explanations. I want one thing. My grandmother's ring. Now." I held out my hand. Her eyes darted from my face to my outstretched hand, then back. Defiance flickered amidst the panic. She instinctively covered the ring on her left hand. "No, you gave it to me. We're engaged." "The engagement," I said, spitting the word out, "is over. The relationship is over. Everything is over. Give me the ring, Luna." Something hardened in her expression then. The panic receded, replaced by a sneering bitterness. The mask slipped completely. "You want to know the truth?" she hissed, her voice dripping contempt. "Yeah, you got the clap from me, and you know what? She gestured vaguely, presumably towards the man in the video or some other conquest, wasn't the first, not by a long shot. My stomach churned, but I kept my face impassive. She saw my reaction, or lack thereof, and seemed spurred on, needing to wound me further. "I've got plenty of lovers, Charlie. Men who aren't cheapskates like you. Men who appreciate a woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to take it. Men who give me the gifts I deserve without making me beg or feel guilty." She laughed, a harsh, ugly sound. "Those expensive things I used to buy myself, the scarves, the shoes. You really thought I bought those on a waitress's salary? God, you're naive." It hit me then. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. The designer items early in our relationship weren't bought with her hard-earned money. They were gifts, rewards for services rendered. All this time, while I felt inadequate, she was being bankrolled by other men. While she pushed me to succeed, she was hedging her bets, enjoying the perks of infidelity. Her hustle wasn't just about working 2 jobs, it was a different kind of hustle entirely. "Finally, you get it, genius," she sneered, seeing the understanding dawn on my face. She turned on her heel and stormed towards the bedroom. I heard drawers slamming, closet doors banging. I didn't move. I just stood there, listening to the sounds of her packing, the sounds of our 2 years together being erased. The ring gleamed dully on the counter. I picked it up. It felt cold. She emerged 20 minutes later, dragging a suitcase, her face set in hard lines, eyes red-rimmed but defiant. She didn't look at me as she walked to the door, pulled it open, and stepped out, slamming it shut behind her. Silence descended. Absolute deafening silence. I sank onto a kitchen stool, the weight of the past hour, the past 2 years, crashing down. But still no tears. Just a vast, cold emptiness and a burning, righteous anger. She thought she could play me, use me, betray me, and just walk away? Not a chance. But that wasn't enough. I wanted to see it for myself, to know she wouldn't wriggle her way out of this one. That afternoon, I drove to the dealership and parked across the street. Through the glass windows, I watched as Luna went about her day, pretending nothing was wrong. Then, I saw the owner step out of his office and call her over. His voice was low, but firm. "Luna, could you step into my office, please?" Luna flashed her practiced smile, the same one I'd seen 100 times. "Of course, Mr. Henley. Is something wrong?" "Let's discuss inside," he said, his face unreadable. I saw them disappear into his office. Through the frosted glass, the conversation played out in shadows and tense body language. After a few minutes, the voices grew louder. "You can't be serious!" Luna's voice cut through the quiet of the showroom, sharp, desperate. "I'm afraid I am," the owner said, his tone flat and businesslike. "We've received serious evidence of gross misconduct. You're being let go, effective immediately." "But, Mr. Henley, please, I can explain." Her words were frantic now, rising in pitch. "There's nothing to explain, Luna. This is non-negotiable. Security will escort you to gather your things." I watched as Luna burst out of the office, face flushed, eyes brimming with angry tears. She stormed to her desk, shoving files into a cardboard box. A couple of her coworkers exchanged awkward glances, unsure whether to offer comfort or distance themselves. One whispered, "Luna, what happened?" She shot them a venomous glare. "Mind your own business." She spotted me standing by my car outside. For a moment, her gaze locked on mine, blazing with hatred. I didn't flinch. I just watched, steady, as she turned on her heel and marched out into the parking lot, box in arms. As she passed me, she hissed, "You did this! You happy now?" I met her stare, calm and cold. "I'm not happy, Luna, but I'm done letting you walk all over me." She scoffed, turned away, and disappeared into her car, slamming the door so hard the sound echoed across the lot. Next, I contacted a private investigator Dave recommended, a discreet, expensive professional named Marcus Thorne. I met him in his sparse, anonymous office downtown. I laid out the basics. My ex-fiancée, Luna, suspected long-term infidelity. I wanted confirmation, details, names, dates, locations, specifically over the past year or two. Thorne listened impassively, took notes, quoted his fee. I paid the retainer without blinking. Money was no object now. This was about principle. It was about consequences. While Thorne worked his magic, I focused on the legal angle. I consulted with Sarah Jenkins, a sharp litigator in my firm who specialized in civil suits, though usually corporate ones. I explained the situation, the diagnosis, the confirmed infidelity leading to transmission, the emotional distress. "Negligent transmission of a disease," Sarah mused, tapping her pen. "It's viable, Charlie. Damages could include medical costs, pain, and suffering. Potentially punitive damages, given the deliberate concealment." "Do it," I said. "File it. Serve her wherever the PI finds her." Thorne delivered his report 2 weeks later. I sat across from Thorne in his cramped office, the blinds half drawn, stacks of case files everywhere. He slid a thick folder across the desk to me. Thorne cleared his throat. "I finished the report. It's extensive." I opened the folder, my eyes catching photos, printouts, names I didn't recognize. "How bad is it?" He looked at me, all business. "She wasn't just looking for opportunity, Charlie. She made a lifestyle out of it." I let out a shaky breath. "How many?" He hesitated, then answered, "At least 5 different men in the last 12 months. That's aside from the silver-haired guy in your video." I flipped through the pages, my heart pounding. "These guys, she met them all at the dealership?" "Not all," Thorne replied. "Some were test drive customers. She'd schedule appointments late in the evening. The drives went way past the usual route, sometimes hours. Other times she'd close up late. But it wasn't just paperwork keeping her there." I shook my head, sick. "And the others?" "Hotel bars." She told you she had waitressing shifts or had to stay late. She was meeting men, wealthy types. I pulled security footage, even got some snapshots myself. Everything's in here. Names, dates, photos. I thumbed through the evidence. She was systematic. Thorne nodded, his voice low. She covered her tracks well, but she got careless. You said you wanted the truth. Well, here it is. I closed the folder, feeling the weight of it in my hands. Yeah, I wanted the truth, just didn't think it would be this much. The report included current addresses or workplaces for most of them. Coldly, methodically, I drafted another email. Subject: Important health notification regarding Luna Simpson. I sent it anonymously, using a secure, untraceable service to each man on Thorne's list. It has come to my attention that you have recently been intimate with Luna Simpson. I strongly advise you to seek immediate medical testing for transmitted infections, as she has knowingly transmitted at least one serious infection to a partner. Protect your health. I felt a flicker of dark satisfaction, imagining their reactions, the disruption, the potential fallout in their own lives. They were complicit after all. The lawsuit was served to Luna at the temporary address Thorne had found, a friend's couch across town. News travels fast in certain circles. I heard whispers through mutual acquaintances. Luna was a pariah. We sat in a bar with Dave. He slid another beer across the table. Oof, word's getting around, man. You know how this town is. People talk. I nodded, taking a sip. I've already heard stuff through the grapevine. She's pretty much toxic now. Got canned from the dealership. Nobody's touching her with a 10-foot pole. Dave shook his head, a little amused. Didn't she used to brag about how everyone respected her over there? I snorted. Yeah, well, reputation doesn't hold up when you get caught doing what she did. Even her so-called friends are keeping their distance. And Thorne, he didn't just find the guys. He made sure a few of them got a heads up. That sure helped to burn some bridges. Dave grinned, raising his glass. Poetic justice, huh? I met his toast. Karma, finally. A week after being served, my lawyer received a call from Luna's hastily appointed legal aid attorney. They wanted to settle. Her lawyer likely advised her that fighting would only lead to more public humiliation and a potentially larger judgment. We sat in a small conference room at her lawyer's office. Fluorescent lights, cheap coffee, the hum of a copier down the hall. Luna sat across from me, face pale, lips pressed tight. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Her lawyer, a nervous young guy in an ill-fitting suit, cleared his throat and spread out the paperwork. Mr. Richards, thank you for coming. My client would like to resolve this amicably. Here's our offer. He pushed a document across the table. Miss Simpson is prepared to formally return the engagement ring. It's already in my possession, I interrupted, voice flat. He nodded, flustered. Yes, of course, but this will make it legally indisputable. In addition, she's agreed to cover your documented medical costs in full. He tapped the paper, avoiding Luna's gaze, too. In exchange, he continued, you agree to drop all further claims for damages, no additional lawsuits. This closes the matter for both parties. I picked up the paper and scanned it. Silence hung heavy between us. I accept, I said finally, signing my name with a sharp stroke. The lawyer let out a breath. Thank you, Mr. Richards. We'll file everything with the court. This will be over soon. I slid the pen toward Luna. She took it, hands trembling just a little. She signed her name, her eyes never leaving the table. We both stood. The lawyer began to gather the documents, already moving on. I hesitated, then turned to leave. That's when Luna finally spoke, her voice rough, almost a whisper. Chuck. I stopped, but didn't turn around. I'm sorry, she said quietly, her words thin and empty, but real. For all of it. I didn't answer. I just nodded once and walked out, leaving her in the past behind. The final piece of news came a month later, again through the grapevine. Luna had left town, erased from my city, erased from my life. But weeks after Luna's disappearance, I found an unmarked envelope slid under my door. No name, no return address. My gut tightened. I picked it up, turned it over in my hands, and ripped it open. Inside was a USB drive. Nothing else. I hesitated for a moment, then slid it into my laptop. Only one file on it. No label, no clue. I clicked. Luna appeared on screen, pale and drawn, but her eyes were steady, fixed right on me. She wasn't alone. There was a man behind her, tall, his face hidden behind a mask. Black, featureless. His hand rested on her shoulder. Luna looked straight into the camera, straight at me. Actions have consequences, Chuck. That was it. The screen went black. I sat there, staring at my reflection in the monitor, heart pounding. The silence in my apartment felt different now. Heavy, electric, charged with something I couldn't name. It wasn't over, not even close.